Good morning or good afternoon if you're watching this later in the afternoon. So I want to create a little video about what happens if you need to perform two or more transformations or changes. So I have an example here. We have a triangle A, B, and C, and we are going to reflect and translate. Well, does the order matter? That's what we're trying to figure out. So if we start with this triangle and reflect first. So down here I have our points A, B, and C. And if we reflect in the y-axis, our point A becomes A prime. Remember we changed that to A prime to show our first change in our new image. When we reflect in the y-axis, the x number changes and the y number stays the same. So let's do the same thing for B. B becomes B prime. The x number changes, the y number stays the same. So what happens to C? Now we want to translate. So we're going to translate. Minus means left. So we're going to go left 3. And the plus here means up. So up 2. So we're going to take our x number and move and subtract 3 and take the y number and add 2. But what we're going to do is from our new points here. And to show that we have another change, our A prime becomes A double prime. So that the extra marking shows it is a second change. So we're going to subtract 3 from the x, add 2 to the y. And there's our final point, A double prime. B prime does the same thing, becomes B double prime. We're going to subtract 3 from the x, add 2 to the y, and there's B double prime. So C prime becomes C double prime. Do the same thing, subtract 3 from the x, add 2 to the y, and there's our final point. So if we were to plot these points on the graph, there's our new triangle. So we would need to label our points just like before. So A here, we made 2 movements, 2 changes to it. We reflected it, then we moved it to the left and up. So A becomes A double prime. B and C become B double prime and C double prime. So there is our final image. We're going to do the same thing now, but in the opposite order. We're going to translate first. I forgot to write translate here, but we're going to translate, then reflect. So same process. A becomes A prime. We translate first, so I subtracted 3 from the x, added 2 to the y. So B, what's the answer for B? B prime becomes a negative 11, negative 6. Same thing for C. Subtracted 3 from the x, added 2 to the y. C became C prime. Now we're going to take these new points and we're going to reflect over the y-axis. So just like before, because it's our second change, A prime becomes A double prime. The x number changed, the y number stayed the same. So B prime became B double prime, and C prime becomes C double prime. So there's our final points. So is this the same location as the first example? It is not. Why? Well, because we had to move it to the left and up, the second image after the first change was further away from that y-axis. So it has to move further away from the y-axis on this side. So my initial question, does the order matter? Yes, it does.